Right, good evening. Welcome onto our core nutrition webinar call tonight. It's great to have you with us. A very warm welcome to our NeoLife community on the call, and a very special welcome to those who are logging onto their very first NeoLife nutrition webinar. My name is Drew McDermott, and I'm the Director of Sales for NeoLife South Africa. And tonight's call, we're going to be focusing specifically on core nutrition and what bases and what areas you need to be covering for yourself and for your family to achieve optimal health. And our goal tonight is to highlight these areas and then empower you with practical information and solutions that you can implement into your life to achieve amazing health. And our mission, the NeoLife community's mission, is to make the world a healthier and a happier place. And we want to end this trend of chronic disease. And the modern day health life cycle can pretty much be summed up in a simple graph. We are born into this energetic zone, and as we age into our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, we fall into this tired zone, and eventually we end up in the sick zone. And we think that's just the way life is. When I talk about the tired zone, you're not actually sick, you're just tired. Maybe you're living life with a little bit more stress. Maybe you now have a full-time job to hold down. You have a family to run. Your diet isn't what it should be. Maybe you aren't getting down to the gym 3 or 4 times a week as you used to. And you're just not living life with the energy that you used to have. And those are always your telltale warning signs of things to come. And we hit our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, our 70s, and we fall into this sick zone. And people are in fact living longer today than they ever have been, but that is because of chronic medication. But they're working for 30 or 40 years of their life to live out their golden years or their retirement years, but they're spending the money they make in their working career to keep themselves alive. And they're not spending their golden years with any lifestyle, because normally they are fighting illness or fighting sickness. So tonight I want to say to you, it doesn't have to be like that. When you give your body the nutrients it needs, your body can live with health and vitality, and you can die healthy. And there is such a thing as dying healthy. And what's exciting about that is I just want to illustrate to you the lifestyle that you regain. And so, yeah, I'm a firm believer in prevention is better than cure. And my passion is talking to people that maybe you haven't fallen into that sick zone yet, but you're teetering in that at some point in that tired zone. And with the right nutrition and the right solution, you can get your life back up into that energetic zone, and you can live with health and vitality. But the sad reality is that more and more people are falling into the tired and the sick zone at a younger age, and illustrated by that red arrow. In the 20s, 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s, people are now being diagnosed with these chronic diseases. And our goal is to empower you with information and a solution so that you and your family can end this trend, because ending this trend starts with you and starts with your family, and you can achieve great health. So I'm going to jump straight on to tonight. We've got an amazing panelist. I'd like to invite her onto the call. I'm just going to unmute her. You give me a second. Liz, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Andrew. Hi.
Fantastic. Let me just introduce you quickly, Liz. Liz has been a dietitian for the last 25 years and is an absolute authority when it comes to diet and nutrition and giving your body what it needs. So Liz, thank you for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to hand this call over to you. Take it away.
Thanks, Andrew. And hi, everybody. Nice to have you on our webinar. Well, I'm going to just carry on with that theme that Andrew started about ending the trend. And at NeoLife, what we've done is we've chosen nutrition as our weapon to do this. Because, we know that nature has a plan for human nutrition, which is why we talk about using nature's blueprint in this quest of ours to end the trend. So as a result, we've got a group of scientists at NeoLife, and they've pioneered some really revolutionary products and in keeping with what Andrew was saying about empowering people and giving them insight into how they can make a change, I want to just highlight probably 2 or 3 of these just to show you what it is that we need and what it is we can do about some of the gaps that we find that are causing some of these chronic diseases. So let's just start out with one of our really unique pioneering products, and that's Formula 4. Why should you be taking Formula 4? Many people all over the world, and in fact, including health professionals, take a daily multivitamin supplement, hoping that, in fact, I guess it's some form of insurance, really, that it's going to fill some gap or perhaps just, cover some dietary need that they have. And yet when you speak to most of those people, they'll admit, they'll tell you that, yes, they could still do with a bit more energy, thank you. So at NeoLife, we fully understand why it is that many of those multivitamin and mineral users are still feeling tired and sluggish. Well, actually, and it all comes down to your cells, the trillions of cells that you and I are all made of. And you can actually see on that graphic that each cell has an outer membrane, as we call it, and that's meant to be fluid. In fact, it's meant to be oily and fluid when it's functioning optimally. But it not only functions as a kind of outer shell, but it's intended to facilitate or act as an avenue for the transport of nutrients into that cell. And then, of course, as a conduit for the waste that goes out eventually. But if your diet, doesn't provide adequate amounts, or there's an imbalance of these oils that are needed in the membrane, and these oils are known as what we call lipids and sterols, and we'll talk about that again. If they're not there in the adequate proportions or in amounts, that membrane of yours is actually going to function in a compromised way. And in fact, your cell could really become sluggish and lose vitality. Now, if that happens to enough of your cells, you'll become sluggish and lose vitality. So at NeoLife, really, the Formula 4, which is unlike any other multivitamin and mineral on the market, because yes, it does deliver a broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals, because yes, we need them. But what it does do, and what we've done, is incorporate these unique lipids and sterols as well. So at NeoLife, we've given these oils, lipids and sterols, a collective name, and we've called them Tri-N-N. So let me tell you a little bit more about this unique combination, because the lipids and sterols that make up Tri-N-N are actually sourced from foods that are eaten all around the world. We operate in more than 50 different countries around the world. So we obviously look at the population eating patterns, and, different staples in different populations are sometimes wheat or soya or rice. And it's well known that these staples are commonly processed. It's mainly processed to give us a longer shelf life. And it's during, this processing procedure that these important lipids and sterols are stripped or polished off, actually, and simply discarded from those actual grains or foods. So Formula 4 is a mixture of this broad spectrum of important vitamins and minerals, but we've combined them with Tri-N-N, these grain oils. And that greatly enhances your cell's ability to receive and use the very vitamins and minerals that you're taking. And it's not surprising then, when you look actually at this graphic, what I also want you to be aware of before we go into the details here is that this is not just talking about vitamins and minerals in these oils. What we've done at NeoLife is we've tested what we've put together and said, well, does it actually make a difference? And I think you can see from this graphic that when in fact we include Tri-N-N, which is the green bar on the graph, along with nutrients, that it greatly improves their utilization. In other words, the cell is more efficient, which obviously translates also, as you can see from the graphic, to improved growth and development. So it's not surprising, actually, now that the number one message from people who start using Formula 4 with these Tri-N-N concentrates is that they feel like they have more energy. And you will too if you use it. So from that original NeoLife product, our scientific advisory board realized that, we really can make a difference, and continued with their interest in developing quite revolutionary products. And the next one that I want to talk about, which is also, again, a food gap, we've talked about an oil grain gap, is in fact the fruit and vegetable gap. carotenoid or carotenoid complex. Carotenoid is the name given to the pigment or the color that you'll find that naturally occurs in, mainly red, yellow, and orange fruit and vegetables that you find in nature. But you sometimes do find carotenoids in deep green vegetables like spinach, because the very deep green color actually masks that sort of orangey red hue that is in them naturally. Well, why should we be taking a product like this? Well, because we have a significant fruit and vegetable gap. Most people around the world, and certainly in Africa, are not achieving even the minimum intake of about 5 portions a day, let alone the optimal intake of up to 13 that is recommended. So if you're not getting enough carotenoids in your diet, then you do risk or run that risk of your immune capacity being quite compromised, meaning that you might not be able to protect your immediate health. So if we look at something like carotenoid complex, I think we all know that the fruit and vegetable family are considered the protectors of our body. So that translates into them actually influencing and providing an immune boosting power to our body. And so if we look at the next slide, again, you'll actually see that while we know this information, we've challenged it in terms of the product. Does it in fact behave like the fruit and vegetables? What does it do to the human body? And the United States Department of Agriculture showed a really high interest in this rather unique product and said they'd like to test it themselves, thank you. And you'll see from this graphic that in fact, it does just that. They showed that in humans, because they used human subjects in their studies, that it increases our immune capacity by 37% in just 20 days. Other things that we found that it did, that the fruit and vegetable extracts would do, is that they protect our cholesterol. And that's very important so that it doesn't misbehave and cause heart disease. And generally boosts our antioxidant levels in the blood so that it supports our vital organs in general. So from the very first time actually that you take it, and in fact every day thereafter, you're actually contributing to your body's ability to defend itself. And let me just highlight a few details that make this product really very unique. Well, first of all, it's derived from nutrients within the human food chain. And that's not an obvious thing to some people. We need to make sure that we eat things that the body recognizes that are biocompatible with the body, not something foreign to the human body. And it's considered the most complete carotenoid supplement on the market, because every capsule you will get and take, you get the power of an optimal serving of fruit and vegetables derived from whole tomatoes, carrots, the spinach I mentioned, red bell peppers, strawberries, apricots, and peaches. And you see they're all the red, yellow, and orange hues that I mentioned. And in fact, every 90 capsule bottle contains the carotenoid power of 115 kilograms of these raw fruit and vegetables that I mentioned. So this really is a world first in whole food carotenoid supplementation. In fact, it's so unique that it was granted a patent. So this is really something that I believe will help to end that trend, because we're filling a fruit and vegetable gap that really is a glaring one and an extremely important one. But another pioneering product, and a world first again, because we followed nature's blueprint, is omega-3 salmon oil plus. So why, you might ask, should you be taking it? Well, your body needs a family of fats that are known as omega-3 fatty acids. And since the human body isn't able to make them, then you have to source them from the food that you eat. And there's certain fish that are particularly rich in these essential oils. And ideally, you should be eating 2 portions of this fish each week. That's what science and the general consensus is. But when we've done surveys and research around the world, and particularly in Africa actually, our intake of fish is particularly low. And again, that results in a very important dietary gap. So omega-3 salmon oil plus was formulated specifically to bridge this very crucial gap. And what it will do for you actually is that it supports your cardiovascular health. In other words, that's your heart and blood vessels, as well as working to promote quite youthful actual brain function actually. Influences your joints, they become flexible and stay healthy, and even keeps your eyes healthy and free of disease. But a particularly important factor to consider if there's a deficiency of omega-3 fats is that it tends to bias your body towards inflammation. And the knock-on effect is that it accelerates aging and it actually increases the risk of disease. Conversely, if we have an abundance of omega-3 fatty acids, that actually provides the building blocks that we need for the inflammatory forces to actually balance themselves in your body. And that promotes health and longevity. So this particular product, I'd like to just give you again some very unique influences that it has in ending this trend and filling this gap, and what motivated our scientists to put it together. It is actually the first omega-3 supplement to deliver all 8 members of the omega-3 family that are involved in human nutrition. And this is simply following nature's blueprint. It's not something that's a secret, and I don't believe that there are many products on the market that have actually followed nature's blueprint to this extent to deliver you all 8 members. And it's derived entirely from nutrients, again, within the human food chain. But of course, we can talk about it, but the important thing is, does it work? And again, the product was tested clinically in humans to actually show many, many distinct benefits that we know that fish will achieve if we fill that gap. But we need to fill that gap because it's a glaring one. And you'll see here from the graphic, first of all, it says the product is bioavailable. Well, what that means, that's important. It means that the body recognized it. It means that it was absorbed. It means it's detectable in the body and therefore usable in the body. You can also see that just within 8 weeks of taking it, there was a marked reduction in some of the fats that are well known to contribute to heart disease. And also in this very short time, it showed a distinct improvement in the ratio between the omega-3 and the omega-6 fats. Now, a detectable increase in these omega-3 fats in our bodies is exactly what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to improve that balance. So we desperately want to be able to see those omega-3s in our system and working there. So to be able to prove that this product actually does that is an extremely important result. But another amazing thing is that it also has a powerful impact on the body's ability to balance inflammation. I talked about inflammation as a cause for accelerating aging and disease. And this product has an ability to balance not just the anti-inflammatory, but the pro-inflammatory. In other words, it definitely keeps the balance. And that balance is needed to enhance our health and, of course, our longevity. And the reason this product is so powerful and effective is because the NeoLife scientists didn't just use one fish. Sure, we used the salmon, which is particularly rich in these omega-3 fats. But to ensure that the product fills that fish gap really effectively, they used 4 different fish so that they could present all 8 members of the omega-3 family, which would be represented and should be represented in your diet. And this is what makes the omega-3 salmon oil plus product not only different, but highly effective, as you can see from these clinical tests undertaken on the product. So I think you can see that they are very powerful products that go a long way to helping bridge common but very important dietary gaps, and that really can influence this negative trend of chronic diseases. But to end this trend, we have to ensure that it doesn't get a chance to take a hold in the first place. So NeoLife has included many of these basic blueprints from nature into products for your children. And I want to just briefly highlight some of the really unique features from products that your children can use with this understanding that our scientists have of using nature as the blueprint, staying within the human food chain. And we'll start with VitaSquares. That's a chewable multivitamin and mineral, and it's really delicious. It's got a very irresistible fruit flavor. And I guess this is the Formula 4 equivalent that I was talking about. This is the equivalent for children, because it does contain a broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals, but it has those crucial lipids and sterols, the N for cellular energy and nutrition, which makes it unique for your children. But because of the combination of ingredients there, it also positively influences your children's ability to learn, to focus, to concentrate, and also to recall information. Now, VitaGuard is complementary to VitaSquares because it's a protector, it's an antioxidant, also a chewable product. And that has quite a yummy sort of berry citrus flavor. And it will powerfully influence your children's immune system because it contains a blend of those amazing carotenoid-rich fruit and vegetables that I mentioned. And we've also added other antioxidant or protector minerals such as zinc and selenium to give that additional boost to your children's defenses. And for the very little ones in the family who may need a liquid supplement, well, NeoLife's developed Liquivite. Now, this is a liquid multivitamin, and it provides a full day supply of the 12 most important vitamins. But uniquely, it includes those treonine concentrates for the cellular energy and nutrition, as well as some carotenoids from fruit and vegetables to support little ones' immune health. And the intriguing thing is, and quite unique in this day and age, that none of these products contain anything artificial. So we don't have added any artificial flavors, no artificial colors, no sweeteners, no preservatives. So I do really think that this way we can really help your children to reach their full potential, because that's extremely important. At NeoLife, we believe that we can help to do that together with these sort of products for our children, for our adults, and together I think we can all help to end this trend of chronic disease. So thanks, Andrew. That's our little children, and we hope we can all help to get them reach their full potential and become adults and not just statistics in this disease-ridden world of ours.
Fantastic.
So that's what I've got to do.
Wonderful, Liz. Thank you so much. We so appreciate you joining us on tonight's call, and we so appreciate you taking time out of your evening to add value into our NeoLife community. So thank you very much, Liz. And I want to just thank all of you for joining us on tonight's call. I trust that this information was of value to you, and our goal is to become your nutrition home, a place where you can come and get your questions answered, a place where you can come and get whole food nutrition that is based in nature, backed by science, without the hype and without all the fads that often go with nutrition. So for more information, or to get your questions answered, or to get your hands on some of the nutrition that Liz has spoken about, please get in touch with the person who got you onto this call. And together we are going to make the world a healthier and happier place. Together we're going to end this trend of chronic disease. And I just want to thank you once again and wish you a fantastic evening and